Good morning, everyone. Kate Bora here, flying solo today. Wanted to jump on 28th of February. I have an amazing desk calendar, which I love. Every day it talks about affirmations. It's the Hay House calendar. Anyway, today's affirmation: no one else gets to choose for me, I make my own choices. Super relevant for what I wanted to talk to you about today, and that is all around responsibility. And this very much, in terms of the frame that I want to share some thoughts with you, it's around mindfulness. So chapter 6, I've called Confidence, Be Focused and Present. Probably, in my experience, one of the most powerful chapters, one of the most powerful lessons I've learned personally. So back in my corporate days, when I was working quite a senior finance role, I wanted to get exposed to Buddhism, and really I was about learning meditation. And so I started to go along weekly to these meditation Buddhist classes in Glebe, and my mum started to come with me, and that was, I guess, probably 12 years ago or so, and that was the beginning of my journey with meditation. And I think often meditation and mindfulness are words that are used interchangeably, and there's loads more that we can do in terms of like tools, strategies, activities that actually can really bring us into the present. And that's what mindfulness is being in the here and the now. And I think an incredibly powerful resource. Last, I think it was November, Penny Short, who is a good friend and one of my coaches, did a webinar for the YPWA community on grounding energy. And it was an amazing reminder of how potent who we are and how we show up is. And earlier in the year, we've been talking about executive presence. And again, we keep coming back to this conversation around mindfulness. How are you showing up and being present in the moment? How are you managing the fight or flight situation? And it comes down to presence, it comes down to breath, and it comes down to really being able to put everything to the side. And I think when I think about, this quote, no one else gets to choose for me, I make my own choices. And when I think about that and the responsibility that sits with that, it's on us as individuals to be able to put to the side everything else that's going on so that we can be in the here and now, and so that we can process whatever is coming at us, particularly if I think about tough times. I know a couple of years ago when my mum passed, the weeks, particularly the weeks after that, were really tough from a resilience point of view for me, in terms of being able, we'd had a long process on the way into her passing, and I was exhausted, and it was a great lesson. I learned a lot about myself in terms of coping strategies, but also in terms of, how do I show up and just be really present in the day and focus on what I need to do right there in that minute, and really segment. And this is something I share with clients often when they've got a lot going on. So a lot going on professionally, a lot going on personally, perhaps with their own health, relationships, and maybe some other things that are moving. I talk a lot about just focus on, the day, focus on, it's Thursday morning, focus on what you've got to do between now and 5 p.m. Don't think about tonight, don't think about tomorrow, don't think about the weekend. Really just focus on now and what's going to happen during the work day, and then give yourself permission when you arrive at that milestone to be able to think about and process that. In the absence of that, we get completely overloaded. So it's a little bit like, fences, yeah? We put up some fences and some boundaries and some gates, and I say, okay, cool, I'm moving into the beginning of my work day, and so now I'm going to open up that gate. I'm going to allow in everything that I need to think about mentally, process emotionally, do physically over the course of the next 8 hours. And then when I get to the other end, it's 5:30, 6 o'clock, whatever time it is that your day will finish in the work day, then I'm going to close that gate and open up the gate to home and family and relationships. And that's not how I suggest you live every day of your life, but when there is a lot coming at you, that ability to be able to segment and to make some good conscious choices about where you're at, and to live incredibly mindfully, to live very much in the present, and to make choices. And the beautiful choice framework or decision framework that I've been reflecting on a lot lately. I've been doing loads of presence and mindfulness stuff over the last 6 weeks. I've been on a very strict eating protocol. So very much, the decision is in the moment, in the day. And, of course, there's times when you want that cup of coffee or that piece of toast or the glass of wine. And it's been a really interesting journey on the self-talk that goes up here and the choices I've made. And, pretty much every day I have just come back, or whenever I've had a moment of weakness or wanted to have something that's contraband, I've just come back to the question, what's more important here, Kate? Is it the cup of coffee, the glass of wine, that piece of chocolate, or is it just, staying true to your commitment? And for me, I wanted to lose a reasonable amount of weight. Or is that what's more important, the coffee, the chocolate, or the weight loss? I think it's very much around success is a function of the small decisions you make. We have a strategy for success and a strategy for failure. And it sounds simplistic, but every day you make choices and they lead you towards the life you want and your goals, or they lead you away from that. And every moment you're making choices in either of those directions. And so for me, the ability to be present, the ability to be mindful, to come into that moment, to make those small choices and to make the right ones that serve me and my values and my goals, that helps me navigate tough times. It helps me make good decisions. And ultimately, it's such a core part of my personal success. So I think there's lots of stuff that can take us off track. Lots of time, loads of distractions every day. And so we need to start to take back control. Where are we choosing to put our energy and our attention? What are we allowing in? So this concept of boundaries is super important. And what choices am I making to navigate my day? And look, it's very much around building habits. We've, a couple of years ago, I did some great research work into distraction. And, I think more than ever, it's incredibly difficult if we think about, and even beyond a work day, even just sitting at TV, sitting down at nighttime, reading a book, watching Netflix, everyone's on their phone. There's just so many different ways we can choose to spend our time. Many of us, choosing two things at once. And so, I think we really do need to start to train our focus, train our presence, and come into the moment, and it will feel uncomfortable. Sitting, I've integrated some new little rituals this year. Every morning when I start the day, a couple of minutes, I listen to Elizabeth Peru, who is a cosmic guide and gives you some insight for the day ahead. At nighttime, as I'm going off to bed, listening to a particular meditation I listened to many years ago that's incredibly, that for me is incredibly powerful. So it's whatever works for you. You don't need to sit and have your eyes closed and listen to music. You can go for a walk. In fact, that's a great one without your phone or music to really bring you into the present, into the here and now. Meditation, if it is for you. Amazing yoga is another amazing one. What else? I love this one. These are two tips that Penny gave us last year. One was the thymus gland. So Google it, because I don't know if I've got exactly accurate. But putting your hand over your thymus gland, it's something that you can, it doesn't look too unusual. And that could be something that really brings you into the present, into the here and now, and grounds you. And the other one that I teach quite a lot around presence and grounding, particularly when you're in a tough or high stakes situation in the workplace, that is just connecting in with your senses. So naming 3 things you see, hear, feel, taste, smell, really just activate your senses. So, I see a picture of the moon, I smell lavender oil, I taste my toothpaste, and I feel quite relaxed at the moment. But actually activating the senses brings you into the present, into the here and now as well. So that's a really good one, because you can kind of do that in your mind. You don't necessarily need to say it out loud, albeit it can be really useful if you can get up and duck off to the bathroom and do that. And of course, the most simplest, and that is some really big, deep breaths. and being able to, sort of 3 seconds in, 3 seconds out. And it's another one that we can do when we're in a meeting or when we're starting to feel the nerves bottle up. The breath, without a doubt, is the most powerful physiological tool that we have to be able to manage not only how we feel physically, but how that translates into the brain and into our emotions as well. So I think a really important thing, guys, it's always one for me to master. There's so many new things coming at us that we have to resist, and all of those sorts of things. So our ability, for me, our ability to make good choices very much defines our success in life. And when we really think about that, that comes down to the moments, comes down to the little choices that we make every day. And the more that you can be present, the more you're clearer about your goals, but that's not what we're talking about today. But the more that you can be in the moment, the more that you can make really good choices, make conscious choices about what you have in life. And, if we're in that state, we are connected with our core confidence. The stories that often run around our head aren't playing so loud, and we're able to really get to our truth, to our authenticity, and have the courage to show up with that authenticity, which is so important when we think about core confidence. So guys, if you've enjoyed this, would love your feedback, your comments. If you're reading the book, please send us a note. Would love your feedback, and also any questions you've got that you'd like us to answer on a Facebook Live. We'd love to answer those as well. If you're new to the Core Confidence world, guys, feel free to jump over to the website, coreconfidence.com.au. The first chapter of the book is there, and you can download that for free if you'd like. And of course, guys, if you could share this video, we'd really appreciate it. So guys, don't forget, the act of confidence comes before the feeling of confidence. And every day we have the beautiful, amazing, delightful opportunity to work in our relationship with confidence and really move ourselves towards that place of being present and being in that core confident self.